Hey, it's day 144. 144 of Hey, what are you doing today? Have you ever had your ass just kicked at work like all day long, nonstop, just one thing after another? I had one of those days today, but you know what was cool was this was the first time where I reacted correctly. Not 100% correctly, but all the training and all the education that I've given myself over the course of 144 days, I reacted very differently than I would have reacted before, and I could see a noticeable difference. Ever since I was a kid, and it's probably where it comes from, some kind of an attention thing. If I'm in a situation where things are just going uncontrollably wrong, I've always been one to kind of throw my hands up, say, F it, and walk away, and kind of get some sense of satisfaction out of that, of just releasing it from me, and there's an irresponsibility in that. There's a lack of growth, a lack of overcoming, a lack of being powerful, a lack of overpowering a situation that comes from that. There's a true weakness in that, and I'm aware of that. I hadn't been aware of it before. Before it seemed like almost I was in control, or a total control thing, that I could just throw my hands up and walk away, and like a power move, or almost. I never really thought of it that way, but that's kind of how it felt. Just that was the answer to show that I was too good for a situation like that. And really what it was I was too weak to handle it, or I was not trained how to handle it correctly and intelligently, and with the power that's required for those situations. And it was funny because 3 days ago I was going through this real dark spell where I was really having some inner struggles, and some other struggles going on around me, and I was having a hard time dealing with it, even though I kind of knew the correct way to deal with it. I was really struggling with maintaining my mood, and maintaining my reaction, and maintaining my emotional seat in the situation. And then with the new info, then I had a kind of a breakthrough yesterday where I just everything was kind of relieved. It was almost like the ether had me go through that to get to today. It gave me 2 real hard days. It gave me 1 day of kind of a recognition, changing, and then put me in this day just to kind of test, see if I learned anything. And it was good. I feel like I passed the test. I might fall down again. There's no doubt about it. I'm not I don't want to make it sound like, I've graduated to some huge level, but I want to acknowledge the fact that there were 4 or 5 situations today where my old self would have made for a pretty ugly situation, that the new self just kind of, and the new sense of self that I'm achieving, just kind of let myself go with it, and kind of let myself I'd look at it from outside of myself. I think that's a big thing too. I used to be in a situation I would look at things through my eyes, and how they affected me, and what I felt was right, and what I felt like I knew was wrong. And I wouldn't allow myself to be kind of a sense of pride, or a sense of I guess that's the way I kind of communicate with myself. I wouldn't allow myself to put up with a situation like this, and I would tell somebody what I thought, or act in a way that kind of demonstrated a lack of respect for somebody in a situation, or those kind of things. And this time I could really see myself from outside the situation, and pluck myself away from those emotions that would make me want to defeat the other person or anything like that. I was outside of the element. I could recognize that person was wrong, but there's no sense in me being wrong as well in reaction, and then understanding what comes from reacting poorly to a poor situation, and how that just escalates that whole thing. So, but that was interesting. It was interesting to see myself be able to overcome it and experience it. And it took this long to get to that point where I can stop and say, hey, that's what happened, and it's good. So kind of a sense of, almost a sense of measurable progress in terms of my spiritual growth or my emotional growth or my intellect or my self-control, self-development. So I think that's a powerful thing. Now, about 2 days from now, I'm in some dark spot, whining or complaining like I was a couple days ago. I just know I'm human, man, and it kind of is what it is. But it's good to see that the focus has kind of paid off a little bit and taken me to a level that hopefully will continue to grow and improve from there. But all in all, a good 2 days. Fought back from a couple of situations today, and I'm coming out on top versus wallowing in the bottom and that self-defeating kind of a feeling. But also, today is officially my last day in my 30s. Kind of weird. I remember my last teenage year when I turned 19. I took it in, and it's all, a lot of it's the communication that I'll have with myself. But I remember I was probably right around my 19th birthday, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is my last teenage year. And that was an important thing to me, I don't know if I held that thought or carried that thought much throughout that year. I don't remember too much about that year, and I don't remember too much about that thought outside of the fact that I remember having that thought. I remember feeling a little bit upset that that was my last teenage year. I remember turning 25. Wasn't the best night of my life. I got in a little bit of trouble with some police officers, but I remember thinking that it was I felt like 25 was like a graduation from youth. And as silly as that sounds, my youth was ending. Going from 24 to 25, I remember having that conversation with myself. My youth was ending. This is the last day of my youth. I'm now an adult, and that's how I felt. It took me till 24, 25 to accept that. I think I remained pretty careless until about 35. Really, when it comes down to it. So I think my youth continued on until about 35, as far as I was concerned. But those were two big milestones in age. 30 was probably a big milestone, but I don't remember anything specifically about it. I don't remember the birthday or what occurred or what my thoughts were. But I thought 40 would be depressing, or I'd be upset by it. I'd be like, I think that's something that a lot of us go through as we graduate to different ages, and just that time moving forward, knowing we can never go back, and those elements taken away from us, or whatever the case might be. But I'm pretty damn excited about 40. I really got to admit it. I feel, and a lot of it has to do with this project. Feeling like finally I'm doing things that I should have done when I was 20 or something. But it took me this long to wake up and realize what the hell life was really all about. And you know what? Life is different for different people in different times in their life. I don't say that as if I have any regrets. I think my life could be a lot better if I would have woken up and realized some of the things that I'm realizing at 39. If I would have realized them at 19 or 29 or 9 years old, for Christ's sake. I shouldn't say it like that. Just a saying that comes out. But I think Warren Buffett knew what he wanted to be at 7. I believe I heard that Bill Gates pretty confident with what he wanted to do at a young age, you just get started early. So if anybody out there is young and happens to stumble upon one of these videos and find some sense of value in them, it doesn't matter how young or how old you are, but you got to start somewhere. I got to yell at some old man real quick, so hold on a second, I'm going to turn you off. All right. Anyway, we kind of forgot what I was not really forgot what I was talking about there, but I had to say goodbye to this older guy that works with me, and only comes in on Saturdays, and just a good guy. Just a good guy. But anyway, I want to say goodbye to him before you head off for the night. So I'm going home for the day. Anyway, I guess that's it. I'm kind of I didn't think I'd be this way. I'm excited about turning 40. Excited about I have some newfound sense of control, newfound sense of knowledge, newfound sense of perspective on life that I didn't have before. My health is feeling pretty good. Hopefully I don't drop dead within this 365-day experience. How horrible is that thing to say? But life happens, I won't feel bad. I could die tomorrow and be completely satisfied with my life. Really, when it comes down to it, all the mistakes I've made, all the highs, all the lows, all the lack of success, or the maybe success, a little bit of success in anything. I mean, I'm not where I want to be by any means. You know, there's things that I would like to do. I'm not real sure what they are yet. I think it's the biggest thing that I'm drifting. I've never really found a purpose, and I'm digging for that, trying to find out exactly what I want to do and what I really want to devote myself to. But it's nice that I'm actually trying to develop a power and develop a direction at this point. You know, some people might laugh at that or find that amusing. That the guy's almost 40 and he's just now decided to start putting some effort into something. But you know, I have my fun too. And I had my share of misery, and sometimes misery is good stuff too. You know, you look back on hard times and think, you know, the elements of, you know, what you got out of it, what you learned from it, how it changed us as a person and me as a person. And I'm grateful for every second of it. Wouldn't change anything. You know, there's some things that, you know, things I'd say I wish had been different at sometimes, you know, but at the same time, it all unfolds perfectly, randomly, you know, and as it is, I just gotta love it for that. So, but so that's day 144, last day of 30s. Tomorrow I wake up and I'm a 40-year-old man, and I'm excited about it. So, anyway, it's all good. Day 144. Hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.